The universe does not send warnings without reason. And this one? It's bigger than most realize. In the third week of February 2025, a rare lunar shift is set to unfold, one that carries an energy so profound it will shape the course of events in ways unseen. Some will feel its pull in their emotions, an unshakable sense that something is about to change. Others will notice it in the world around them, unexpected delays, strange synchronicities, and moments that feel almost predestined. This is not just another moon phase. It's a cosmic reckoning, a moment of truth, a test of alignment between who you are and who you are meant to become. Ignore it, and the weight of unfinished cycles will grow heavier. Acknowledge it, and doors you never imagined could open will begin to unlock. But here's the real question. Are you paying attention? A celestial shift is underway, one that carries the weight of endings and the promise of new beginnings. As the moon enters its transformative phase in the third week of February, it aligns with forces that are far greater than what the eye can see. This isn't just a lunar transition. It's a silent conversation between the cosmos and your soul. A moment when hidden energies stir beneath the surface, pushing you towards something greater. During this phase, the moon moves through a delicate cosmic threshold, a point where its energy wanes just before renewal. It's a time of quiet intensity, a liminal space between what was and what will be. In astrology, this period is known for its deep, reflective energy, a moment where the past whispers, urging you to listen. The moon has always been a mirror, reflecting not just light, but truth. This particular shift forces unresolved emotions to rise, revealing what can no longer be ignored. It's the universe's way of clearing the path for transformation. You may feel a sense of unease or unexpected clarity, as if your intuition is speaking louder than before. Relationships, decisions, and emotions that seem stable may suddenly feel fragile. That's not coincidence. It's realignment. Because ignoring these signs means repeating old cycles. And right now, the universe is giving you a choice. Resist the shift, or embrace it and step into the next chapter of your journey. Some changes happen so quietly that you don't realize them until you're standing in the middle of them. The way certain people fade from your life without a dramatic goodbye. The way an old dream no longer excites you the way it once did. The way you wake up one morning and feel different, but you can't quite explain why. This is one of those times. A shift that isn't loud, yet undeniable. A moment when life is subtly asking you to reassess what you're holding on to and what you need to let go of. Look at your daily life, your routines, your habits, the people you surround yourself with. Are they pushing you forward, or are they keeping you tied to an old version of yourself? Growth isn't always about grand transformations. Sometimes it's in the small choices, the ones you make every single day without thinking. The ones that either keep you in place or move you towards something better. Think back to the last time you hesitated before making a decision. Maybe it was something small, like sending a message you weren't sure how the other person would receive. Or maybe it was something bigger, a job, a relationship, a commitment you weren't certain about. Did you follow through, or did you hold yourself back? And more importantly, did that hesitation come from wisdom or fear? The energy of this lunar shift is bringing all of this to the surface. It's not just about astrology or spiritual timing, it's about reflection. A moment where you have to face the quiet truths you've been avoiding. Because whether you acknowledge it or not, your soul knows when it's time for change. Think about the patterns in your life, The things that keep repeating, almost like a cycle you can't escape. Do you always attract the same kind of relationships? Do you find yourself making the same mistakes, even when you swore you wouldn't? Do certain emotions, guilt, regret, frustration, keep returning, no matter how much time passes? Patterns don't just happen. They exist because somewhere, deep down, a part of you is still clinging to something that should have been released long ago. A version of yourself that's afraid to step into the unknown. But here's the thing about transformation. It doesn't wait for you to be ready. It happens when the time is right. And right now, that time is here. Ask yourself, if you let go of the fear, what would you do differently? Would you finally say what's been sitting on your heart? Would you walk away from something that no longer feels right? Would you stop second-guessing yourself and trust that whatever comes next is leading you somewhere meaningful? Because whether you choose to embrace it or not, this shift is happening. The question is, will you resist it, or will you allow yourself to step into the life that's waiting for you? Change has a way of arriving before we feel ready. It doesn't wait for convenience or comfort. It simply appears, demanding to be acknowledged. And right now, you're standing at a threshold. The question is, will you step forward, or will you cling to what feels familiar, even if it no longer fits? Life has a rhythm, much like the moon itself. It moves through phases, waxing and waning, growing and retreating. And just like the moon, you are not meant to stay in one place forever. But transformation isn't always easy. It asks you to surrender, to trust, to release control over the things you once thought were permanent. Think about the last time you resisted change. Maybe you knew a situation had run its course, yet you held on, hoping it would return to the way it was. Maybe you sensed a door closing but refused to walk away, afraid of what waited on the other side. And what happened? Did clinging to the past make it stay? Or did it only prolong the inevitable, making the shift more painful than it needed to be? Right now, you're being given a choice. You can resist, fight, and struggle against the current, or you can surrender and let the tide carry you where you are meant to go. This isn't about giving up. It's about understanding that true power comes from knowing when to release, when to trust, and when to take action. So, where do you begin? First, look at your attachments. What are you holding on to out of fear rather than love? It could be a relationship, a belief, a habit, or even a version of yourself that you've outgrown. Ask yourself, if you release this, would you feel lighter? Would you finally have the space to breathe, to move, to grow? Letting go doesn't mean forgetting or discarding something as if it never mattered. It means acknowledging that its purpose in your life has been fulfilled. It means honoring what it taught you while allowing yourself to move forward without carrying its weight. Imagine a traveler carrying a heavy bag. At first, it seems necessary, filled with things they believe they need. But as the journey stretches on, the weight becomes unbearable. Every step is harder, every mile slower, and yet they refuse to set it down, convinced that without it, they will be lost. But the truth is, the journey isn't about the bag. It never was. The journey is about movement, about growth, about discovering what lies ahead. And the longer they carry what no longer serves them, the harder it is to reach their destination. You are that traveler, and you have been carrying something for too long. The moment you set it down, the moment you stop fearing what will happen, if you let go, you will feel it. A lightness, a freedom, a quiet knowing that you were never meant to hold on to it forever. But releasing the past is only one part of the transformation. The next step is choosing what comes next. Have you ever stood at a crossroads unsure which path to take? That moment of hesitation, of questioning, is where most people get stuck. They analyze, they overthink, they wait for a sign that never comes. Not because the universe isn't speaking, but because they are too afraid to listen. Signs are everywhere. The right people appearing at the right time. The unexpected shifts that push you in a new direction. The small whispers of intuition that nudge you toward something different. But signs mean nothing if you don't act on them. So, what is your intuition telling you? What is that quiet voice inside saying? The one you often ignore because its truth feels too big, too uncertain, too uncomfortable? What if, just this once, you listened? Take a breath. The path is already unfolding. The only thing left to do is walk forward. Stepping into the unknown is never easy. The mind craves certainty, stability, something to hold on to. But here's the truth. Growth doesn't happen in places of comfort. It happens in movement, in surrender, in the moments when you finally trust yourself enough to take the next step, even when you can't see the whole path. Right now, you are standing at a turning point. You can feel it. Life is shifting beneath your feet, nudging you in a direction that feels both exciting and terrifying. And in this moment, you have a choice: to retreat into the familiar or to step forward with courage. So ask yourself, what would happen if you stopped hesitating? If you stopped overthinking every decision, every possibility, every outcome? What if, instead of fearing change, you embraced it? Look back at your life. Every significant moment, the ones that shaped you, changed you, made you stronger, did any of them happen while you were standing still? Or did they come when you finally took a leap, even if you weren't sure where you would land? The universe is giving you an opening, but you have to be the one to walk through it. That means making choices that align with the person you are becoming, not the person you used to be. That means trusting your own wisdom, even when others don't understand. That means releasing the fear of failure and recognizing that every step, every detour, every unexpected twist is leading you somewhere important. Think of a river. It doesn't fight the rocks in its path. It doesn't resist the bends and curves that redirect its flow. It moves with them, carving new paths, finding new ways forward. It doesn't question where it's going. It simply moves, knowing that movement is the only way to reach its destination. You are that river. And right now, the energy around you is asking you to stop resisting, to stop clinging to what was, and allow yourself to flow into what is coming next. But flow doesn't mean passivity. It doesn't mean waiting for life to change while you stand still. It means taking aligned action, choosing with intention the life you want to create. So where do you begin? Start by listening to yourself, to your intuition, to the quiet voice that has been guiding you all along. Pay attention to what excites you, what sparks something deep inside you. Follow those feelings. They are not random. They are road signs leading you home. Next, take one step, just one. It doesn't have to be grand or life-altering. It just has to be forward. A decision, a commitment, a shift in how you think, speak, or act. That one step will create momentum, and momentum will create transformation. And finally, trust. Trust that you are not alone in this. Trust that the universe is conspiring in your favor, even when the path is unclear. Trust that everything you need, strength, wisdom, resilience, is already within you. Because the truth is, you are ready. You always have been. The only thing left to do is step forward. But stepping forward doesn't mean eliminating fear. It means moving despite it. Fear will always whisper doubts, always try to convince you that staying where you are is safer, easier, more predictable. But ask yourself, has playing it safe ever led to real fulfillment? Think of a flame. It flickers, it dances, it bends with the wind, but never loses its essence. That fire exists within you. It's the part of you that dreams beyond your circumstances, that yearns for something greater, that refuses to be extinguished no matter how many times you've doubted yourself. Right now, that fire is asking you to believe in it, to nurture it instead of smothering it with excuses, to feed it with action, with courage, with trust. You don't need to have every answer. You don't need to know exactly where the road leads. You just need to take the first step, because the moment you do, the path will begin to reveal itself. The energy is shifting. The opportunity is here, and you are more ready than you think. Now, will you take the step? There comes a moment in every journey when hesitation must end. A moment when the weight of the past can no longer be carried forward, and the choice to rise becomes undeniable. That moment is now. You have spent too much time waiting for a sign, for the right circumstances, for the fear to subside. But the truth is, the universe doesn't wait. The moon doesn't pause its cycle. The tides don't hold back. Energy moves, shifts, transforms, whether we choose to flow with it or not. Right now, that shift is happening all around you. The moon's influence isn't just a cosmic event. It is a mirror reflecting your own inner transformation. It is shaking loose the parts of you that no longer belong, clearing the path for something greater. But if you keep clinging to what is already fading, you will miss the opening that is being given to you. So, what will it take for you to trust, to surrender to the current, and step into what's next? You may think you're not ready, that you need more time, more answers, more certainty. But the truth is, the only thing standing between you and the life you are meant to live is the decision to claim it. And that decision, it starts with a single, undeniable truth. You are powerful beyond measure. Do you feel that? That spark, that urgency in your chest, that deep knowing that something is calling you forward? That is not a coincidence. That is your soul waking up, demanding more. It is the universe aligning, pulling you toward the version of yourself that has been waiting to emerge. Think of all the times you doubted yourself and still survived. Think of all the moments you thought you couldn't go on, but somehow you did. You are stronger than you give yourself credit for. So this is your challenge. Let go of the fear that has kept you small. Release the doubts that have chained you to hesitation. Step into your power. Not tomorrow, not someday. Right now. Because the moment you decide, truly decide, everything begins to shift. The energy around you responds. Doors open. Possibilities expand. And suddenly, the life you thought was out of reach is standing right in front of you. So take a breath. Feel the pull of transformation. And take the first step, because the universe is waiting. The energy is here. The shift is happening. Whether you choose to embrace it or resist it, time will not wait. The universe is calling you to step into alignment, to awaken to your potential, to move with purpose instead of standing in hesitation. You've felt this before, haven't you? That subtle nudge, that deep knowing that something greater is on the horizon. You've seen the patterns in your life, the lessons repeating until you finally learn them. This moment is no different, except now you have clarity. Now you understand that these celestial shifts are not just cosmic events, They are invitations. Invitations to let go, to release the weight of self-doubt, past mistakes, and the version of yourself that no longer fits. Invitations to grow, to step into the unknown with faith instead of fear. Because if you don't make the change now, when will you? If you keep waiting for the perfect moment, will it ever come? Or will life continue to pass you by while you hold on to the comfort of what no longer serves you? The moon does not shine with borrowed light for no reason. It reflects, it illuminates, it reveals, and right now, it is revealing something within you, something you may have been ignoring, suppressing, or convincing yourself isn't real. But deep down, you know. You've always known. So, let's talk about what happens next. What will you choose? Will you continue on the same path, carrying the same doubts and fears? Or will you decide, right here, right now, to align yourself with the energy that is calling you forward? This is not about waiting for the universe to hand you a miracle. This is about meeting the universe halfway, about showing up for yourself, making the decision to break old cycles, and stepping into a new chapter with courage. Take a moment and reflect. What is one thing you know you need to release? A habit, a mindset, a relationship, a fear? Say it out loud, claim it, acknowledge it, and then decide to let it go. Because transformation isn't a passive process, it is an act of will, an act of power. And speaking of power, there is something else you must understand. Your words, your energy, your actions shape the reality you experience. When you speak doubt, you strengthen it. When you believe in your limitations, they become real. But when you declare your strength, your resilience, your readiness for change, the universe listens. So right now, I want you to affirm it. I am ready for what's next. I trust my journey. I choose transformation. Say it, write it, feel it. Because the energy of this moment is amplifying your intentions, setting the course for what unfolds next. And now, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below. What is shifting in your life? What truth have you been avoiding? And what step are you finally ready to take? Let's create a space of collective transformation, where your words inspire others to step into their own power. If this message resonated with you, if you felt something stir inside you, don't keep it to yourself. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Someone who is standing at their own crossroads, waiting for the sign that tells them it's time to move. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. Because this journey doesn't end here. There are more revelations ahead, more cosmic shifts that will shape the days to come. In our next video, we'll dive into the hidden spiritual meanings behind February's upcoming lunar cycle and what they reveal about the energy that's guiding you. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. The universe is speaking. The energy is here. The path is open. Now, what will you do with it? Take this moment and breathe it in. Feel the weight of everything you've carried, your fears, your hesitations, your uncertainties. Now imagine setting it down. Not because the journey is over, but because you no longer need to bear it the way you once did. This is your reset, your invitation to walk forward lighter, freer, more aligned than ever before. The moon's energy isn't just something happening out there in the cosmos. It's moving through you, igniting something within you. A truth you can no longer ignore. And the most powerful thing you can do right now, say yes to it. Yes to growth. Yes to change. Yes to the future you've been afraid to claim. Because the moment you decide, really decide, everything starts to shift. The universe responds. Doors open. And the path ahead becomes clearer, with every step you take. So, take that step. Declare it in the comments. Claim it as your own. And remember, this is only the beginning.